Welcome back to Skydog Reviews. It's been a while again, folks, and for that I do apologize. I'll get into it, but I'm going to stick that part at the end of the video. So for those that want to skip it, really don't care about what was going on in my life, you can skip it. I'll put it at the end. For those that want a little insight to what was going on, I'll put a little video at the end, or a little clip at the end here, just to let you know why things turned out the way they did. Some things were planned, some things were unplanned, and yeah, things got really weird at work for what was supposed to be a quiet season. But enough of that. Let's get on to this Boston Scally Cap reviews. Some of these are going to be a little outdated since I have been sitting on these for a while. My last review was my Tunnel to Towers cap review, great cap. And I had some of these hats at this point, but I wanted to leave that one on a standalone video. I think it was such a special cap for those who saw that review and those who got that cap. You know, it really is something special and close to my heart. So I wanted to keep that alone. So even though we're sitting at the beginning of December, we have a lot of summer style caps. Caps which haven't been worn, because when I do my reviews, I kind of put a pile, and that's kind of to induce me to get the review done so I can wear them, and things just didn't go as planned. So unfortunately, that's where we're at. So getting into pricing, as you all know, my favorite way to buy caps is since gone bye-bye. You can still use the Mix and Match 3. You still get free shipping, but you can no longer combine them. So I've been buying more one-off hats. I have quite a few. So I tend to buy them in singles now, and the free shipping works really good on singles. Even at a 20%, you're almost about even. It's just best to check it out in the shopping cart, depending on what you're shipping, and taxes don't matter. You're going to get taxed on it anyway. They seem to have found more ways to tax me in mine. I used to have like one tax thing. Now it's broken into 3 parts and has gone up just for local and state. So anyway, usually buying one is going to beat the 10 or 15%. 20% can be kind of close. So single hats, like, it's usually free shipping, but just check it out. I have a chart, but it's outdated because it has that 3 mix and match and free shipping, which is, and unfortunately has not come back, and doesn't look like it's coming back. So there's that. Prices have gone up a little bit. I think 52 seems to be about the average price nowadays. So kind of like everything else in this world, it's, you know, tariffs have become a thing. So prices have gone up. Anything from taking a run to McDonald's or buying a Scally cap. So something we're just going to have to live with for now. All right, so that's it on pricing. Let's get into the meat of the review here. Let's review some caps. Before we start, sitting on my head is the Goon. Great single panel cap. I love this cap, being a Bruins fan. Absolutely love this cap. It's a great cap. I can only really wear it in colder months, so I've been able to kind of take it off the shelf since it has started to dip down. Temperatures dipping down here in Texas. But great cap, great pin, the Goon. So if you don't already picked one up, I don't know if they're available on the website. They came out, I think, in the spring this year. But one of my favorite caps to wear when it gets colder out. And I have like kind of the swag to wear with it. So that's what's sitting on my head. So like all my other reviews, I'll start out by number of panels and start from a warmer temperature cap to a heavyweight cap. And then panels, I said 1 panel, and I'll work my way to the 8 panels. So I've got 3 panel types today. And we'll start out with the single panel. First single panel on the list, I guess it's been a while. It is the Saltbox single panel cap. It's a lovely patchwork cap. I mean, this is a beautiful looking cap. Looks amazing. Just really well done. very well, coordinated. When you think of salt box, I'm from New England. They had a salt box style home, and that's kind of what these are named for. They kind of usually come in these colors. They did a really good job with the colors and the patchwork matching up to like what a traditional salt box house look like. And if you don't know what a salt box house looks like, it's kind of like a house with a mullet. You have the front half of the house is 2 stories, the back half is 1. So you get the smaller roof up front and then a longer sloping roof in the back. So that kind of defines the salt box. But like I said, it kind of looks like a house with a mullet. So, short in the front, long in the back. But anyways, this salt box cap is phenomenal. I really wanted to wear it, but I had to get the review done. But it looks amazing. It is poly, so it's very lightweight. But I think the best part is it's kind of got like a ventilated interior. It's almost got like the trainer, where it has like the tape on the seams, and you can definitely see through it. You can kind of see my hand out there through the back. So it vents really well. It's a great, and it's really, quality looking. Some of the summer hats can look a little plasticky because of the poly, but this one is just fabulous. Let's get this on the head, see what it looks like. Oh yeah. Yeah, this one is definitely, oh, man, I kind of wish I could have taken this out during the summer. I really love this cap. I love the look at it and the look of it. It goes with almost anything you're going to wear. It's going to be cool. It's going to vent well. It's going to be perfect for these Texas summers. Man, great cap. It looks, I said, I'm just looking at it on my head for the first time as I'm shooting a video, and it is phenomenal. Hopefully we'll release it again next year. Maybe we'll get a salt box too in a little bit different colors, kind of like they did with the dad. But wonderful cap. I suggest you pick one up if you get a chance. We'll just have to wait to see when they come back out. Also, with the salt box and with most hats I have today, did get a little swag. Did get the salt box. You can kind of see what a salt box house would look like there with the short roof and long roof. But yeah, a little bit of swag. That seems to be the thing on their special edition caps. They will come with what they call a dust bag. And like I said, I have several more here to go through. My next and last single panel for this review is the United. Another great summer weather single. I love single panels. Most of them are heavier. But in the last couple years, Boston Sky has been putting out these beautiful single panel patchworks. And you can definitely tell this is a 4th of July hat. It's been that long. It's been sitting there and got a few wrinkles in it and I haven't steamed any of these. I normally don't steam caps, usually wear them to get it out the wrinkles and everything, but they've been sitting piled up together. But man, look at those patches. Definitely call outs to the US flag, using the red, white, and blue across. Got a beautiful brim with the stars from the flag. I think I bought this pin. I didn't buy the pin for the Cape Codder, but the United had a really nice pin, so I got that. That's sitting there on the right side, and you can see the theme continues on the inside. We got the stars again, and then the United logo in there. So great looking single panel. This one is poly cotton patchwork, so it is again a lighter weight, but not as breathable as the Cape Codder is. So it's a little bit heavier, but still very lightweight. Probably a little heavier than like the dads if you have the dads, but still a nice lightweight scally, nice single panel scally. Definitely a patriotic cap to be wearing in and around 4th of July or any other holidays, or just on a regular everyday basis. It's just another great looking single panel. Does have the patchwork. So they're getting a little overdone on the patchworks, I think, at Boston Scally, but this one is, definitely a unique hat. Kind of a seasonal cap or a holiday cap. But another great addition to Skydog's collection anyways. I'll be glad to be breaking this out again next summer. Let's see what we got. We also had some swag come with this. The United, the dust bag. So we got plenty of those coming up. So yeah, lovely cap. I'm glad I picked it up. And again, hopefully next year when they come to their 4th of July issues, they'll release it again. We'll see, but I really like this one. All right, that is it for the single panels. So we're going in, unfortunately, no 5 panels, my favorite cap style. Once again, underrepresented in the Boston Scally lineup. If Boston Scally ever listens to one of these, which I doubt, let's get some 5 panels out, especially lightweight 5 panels, cotton twill 5 panels. Come on, Boston Scally. Give me some of those 5 panels. All right, enough of that. Let's get on to the 6 panels. First 6 panel is another series kind of near and dear to my heart. And again, growing up in Massachusetts, and I used to go down to Cape Cod during the summer sometimes. A friend had a house down there. So I did spend some time down here. And so this time we have the Cape Codder Patchwork. So a little different. Most other Cape Codders are solid colors. The 6 panels, as you can see. But obviously we throw in a navy and a white, and then this blue with anchor pattern in on the for the additional panels. So 3 total panels, each doubled up, so you get 6 panels. Did do the Cape Codder pin with there, and that's just the standard Cape Codder pin with all the different theming. You can see a lobster, a lighthouse, I mean, there's a shark, an anchor, but like all the different theming they have. Because normally, which this one doesn't have, they have an additional embroidered logo in the back, like a ship's wheel, a shark, or whatever. But this one does not. It's kind of built into the style. That anchor theme kind of runs into the brim. Inside, you get one of those like kind of sublimated artwork. So for those of us that are follically challenged, it doesn't stick to your head like the traditional vinyl logos. Beautiful artwork in there. I love the way they've been doing these sublimated ones. They look really good. But let's get a picture of this on the head. Again, I apologize for the wrinkles. They have been sitting and stacked up. So we'll have to work those out. Again, lightweight cap, probably more for your summer or warmer days. I'm not going to be seeing those here in Texas for a few months probably, but maybe a little sooner than some of you folks in the colder portions of the country. But, you know, it's a nice look for a patchwork. The colors go really good with my, I wouldn't say style. I don't have any style, but they go good with my wardrobe and my fashion sense. And again, I wouldn't say there's much to my fashion sense, but it does kind of go with the colors I normally wear. And it is a great looking cap. And although, like I said, 6 panels are not my favorite, they remind me a little too much of like baseball caps. This one's a little different with the patchwork, like the solid one. So, you know, the reason I got into Boston Scally is kind of get away from the ball cap look, but it still kind of sits there with this. This is a little bit more of a transition cap, I'd say. But beautiful cap. I love the Cape Codders. Wear them all summer, so this will definitely go in the rotation. And of course, we got our swag kind of matches the sublimated graphic from within. Boston Scally, Cape Cod Patchwork. Plenty of those sitting around the house. I think I have a dust bag full of dust bags. Anyway, that is the Cape Codder Patchwork. Next hat on our list. Another 6 panel. And this one, another series is that, you know, I just really fell in love with. I have a couple of them that I wear more than other 6 panels. If I'm gonna pop a 6 panel on my head, it's probably gonna be one of these. But it's more of a 3-season cap. I usually wear it in the fall, winter, and spring. It's a little too warm for a summer cap for me, especially in Texas. But we have the Sailor Sand and Sea. And again, like I said, Boston Scally has gotten really big into these patchwork multicolored panel caps. And this one is no different. And there your traditional sailor has in this case, the compass rose embroidered into, not the back of the cap, but it's kind of like on the back left quarter. And you can kind of see the colors there, 3 different colors. You have kind of this gray and then into this almost like a light khaki, or you can call it almost like an oatmeal color, and then into a lighter blue, almost like, the closest thing that reminds me of is there's a captain that has a blue that's very similar. But actually maybe a little lighter than that one. It's definitely almost a light blue, bluish gray. But love the twill caps. I just love the feel of the material. It's nice and soft. It really molds to the head very well. Usually wrinkles come out of these really quick. We'll take a look on the inside. And again, we got that sublimated graphic, not vinyl. It's not sticking to the dome for those of you that have that issue. So this is the Sailor Sand and Sea. Again, great artwork in there. Let's get this one on the head. Yeah, man. Like I said, these are definitely my favorite 6 panels, and I don't know if it's the material. I don't know if it's the look. I do like that embroidery on the left rear quarter. So again, this is something new for the Sailor line. They normally call it solid, but the thing I like about their twills, they usually have like a solid cap, and then they have like a highlight color under the brim. So yeah, this is, now that I'm, sometimes Patchworks are hard to tell when I'm looking on the website, but now that I see this on my head, I'm really liking this one. I already love the feel. I mean, just when you put these cotton twill caps on, they just like mold to your head. I don't know. It works very well. Maybe it's just my particular dome shape that they work well with, but I love the cotton twill hats. I wish they'd make a 5-panel, but they don't. So that would be the Sailor Sand and Sea, and of course, got the swag with that as well. And it's the same logo you saw on the inside of the cap. Another nice dust bag, which will go in the collection of dust bags. And that looks like it's wrapping up our 6 panels. So next on the list is 8 panels, and let's see, we don't have too many here. Well, we got twice as many as we had of the first 2, but 8 panels probably, it's weird. Like I said, 5 panels my favorite. 6 panels probably my least favorite, although I do have some very, like I said, the Sailor series, I still love those caps. And then in the next 1 panel and 8 panels, yeah, they kind of go in between what's my second favorite. Sometimes I'm gonna move for the 1 panel, I like the way the 1 panels look. Other times I'm into 8 panel, I like the way the 8 panels look, the way the 8 panels fit. And maybe that's why I like the 5 panel, because that's basically a 1 panel on the front, 8 panel on the back. So maybe that's why I enjoy the 5 panel so much. But the 8 panels, probably more 8 panels than any other cap style in my collection. So I do love them. They are great caps. But again, mostly summer caps. 1 multi-seasonal cap here, but let's get into it. The first one coming off the top is the Cool Air. I've already done a review on, I think, 3 of the other color Cool Airs. This one's white. Kind of get a little scared with white caps, but man, if you're gonna be out in the sun, in the hot weather, white's the way to go. The unique thing about the Cool Airs, it's a cotton nylon blend, not a cotton poly, so it's a little lighter. And you got these laser cut holes on, let's see, I think on 6 of the 8 panels. The front 2 don't have it, the other 6 panels have these laser cut holes. And again, like the trainer, you got the taped seams, and you can see the holes a little better there. But they really work. I've actually been wearing Cool Airs when I play pickleball, and I play inside. But I normally used to wear ball caps. But as I transitioned from tennis to pickleball this summer, I decided to go a little bit of style, you know, a little BSC style. Again, I'm not a fashion plate by any sense of imagination, but, you know, just to differentiate. Not that like me being like way overweight for a pickleball player already distinguishes me from other players. I usually weigh more than the other players in the court combined, but it's definitely, you know, just something, a little stylistic flair. So got a white one because I think I already have the black, dark gray, the dark blue. Now I have the white one to add into the collection. Let's see, say goodbye. Oh man, I love the feel of these sailors. Sorry. So into the cool air, just get it on the head. Okay, lighter weight caps tend to fit a little tighter on initial. That's kind of normal what they do. I think like the cotton twills are a little different, but most lighter weight caps will fit a little tighter. It's not tight. I mean, I can still rotate it on my head, but it's, you know, definitely a little tighter than some of the other heavier weight materials like the goon and the cotton twill. But man, this is a great cap. Like I said, I love them. You can do anything. I know there's folks out there that are trying to lose weight, go on a lot of walks. You can see them on the various Facebook groups. This is a great cap for them. Pickleball. You want to play pickleball in a cap? It's a great cap for pickleball. Tennis. I never did wear them during tennis, but you can probably get away with it. Though tennis, I liked a little bit more of a brim. Not that I played outside a ton in Texas, but you know, definitely for sun. If you're not, you'd get a little bit of a brim for the sun, but again, this is more a stylistic choice when I'm playing inside, so you don't really need a cap, but I wear one. I'm a BSC guy, what else can I say? But yeah, great caps. I love them. I'd recommend these to anybody, especially living in a warm climate. They're not the most stylistic caps, you know, if you're, you know, not that you wear, I mean, you can wear scally caps, formal wear. There's some great caps, you know, especially some great 8 panels. And I think in the salt box, you could probably wear more formal. This is more of, this is like what you'd wear instead of a baseball cap. You know, if you think, you know, a safe wear baseball cap, these are perfect for that, especially in warm weather. Next cap is actually not much of a departure from this one. It's another Cool Air. And you can probably guess when this one was released because it is the Cool Air Patriotic Patchwork. So, yeah, you got the pops of the red, white, and blue. And again, like the Boston Scally went nuts with the Patchworks this year. So you got 2 blues up front, 2 reds, 2 whites, and 2 more reds. So you get 4 reds total, and then 2 of each. The white and blue, the traditional button on the 8 panels, as this one. The underbrim on this one is white. Internal tape seams, you can still see the holes there, the laser cut holes, give you that cooling effect. Say goodbye to the white. We'll put on the, you can see a lot of wrinkles in this one that has been sitting on top of each other. But the Cool Air has come out pretty quick, especially you playing pickleball in them. They'll get these wrinkles out really quick. And that's my fault for leaving them stacked on top of each other. Obviously since July, and it's December, so yeah. I'll get them stored properly here once I finish the video, and we'll start working these folds and wrinkles out of the caps. But again, this is a little bit more stylish than the single color caps. Same material, same great breathability. Just another great Cool Air. And like I said, definitely you can use it 4th of July or any other patriotic holiday. But this one, like the United really, you know, we're calling out the flag, kind of like the Declaration, some of the other ones. But this one, you know, it's just a color scheme. You can get away with this year round. Probably not in the winter, unless you're, again, playing pickleball or some other sport or walking around and you're worried about, you know, getting that hot air, at least give it some ventilation up there from the top of your head. but a great, another great cool air cap, and just a little bit different on the style. I like it. Looks better on the head than it did. And like straight out of the box, it's kind of like, but again, I do that with a lot of the Patchwork. So, did get some swag with this. And in addition to the dust bag, which I'll show you in a second, got a couple of koozies, the American flag on there. And I'm pretty sure they came with the Cool Air, but they might have come with the United as well, or maybe one of each, because I think I got them at the same time. But some more Boston Scally swag they threw in there. And of course, what's a special edition cap from Boston Scally without a Boston Scally dust bag. And this one actually, graphics on both sides. Most of them are just one side solid on the back. So a little bit different, goes into the collection. All right, halfway through the 8 panels. Let's get into the next one. Don't remember when this one was released. I know it was released over the summer though. So this one kind of, I believe this, I don't know if it's technically a series, but there's another cap out there that kind of similar premise. So maybe it's a series. They haven't really said it's a series, but this one is called the Loch Ness. Oh yeah, you can see. Great job storing these, Skydog, huh? Look at all the wrinkles I put in these things by storing them on top of each other. Oh, what an idiot I am sometimes. All right, so this is obviously a patchwork cap. And you can see a lot of blues and greens in there. You got the plaid, you got some solid, that's, you know, yeah, bluish green. And then, you know, this is kind of a standard Boston Scally type patchwork there. And then into again, back into that, and then into the more of a greener solid color, and that matches the button on top. This one did have a pin, and I did get this one. And it is the Loch Ness monster Nessie wearing a Scally cap. And that theming is continued to the inside. Now this one is one of those vinyl graphics, like kind of your old school vinyl. So the Fockley challenged of this, those of us out there may get a little sticky on the dome. So just be warned, that's in there. I know there's some creative ways to prevent that I've seen. So don't write me, but go look to the Facebook groups, and there's people in there to tell you how to solve that problem. But this one is a 50-50 cotton poly blend. So again, more of a summer weight, you know, some cotton in there, so you get the softness of cotton, but a little bit more lightweight you're gonna get with the poly. Let's get this one up on the head. Oh yeah. Nice fitting right out of the box. Not quite as tight as that. And like I said, I'm not gonna call the Cool Airs tight. They're just a little more snug. This one, like the 8 panels, made out of fabric, did a little loosen up a little bit, and then the heavyweight fabric's a little looser than that. But so it's a cap. I almost didn't get this. I'm not big in the greens. I don't have that palette in a lot of my clothing and everything. But I don't even think I bought it on opening weekend. I think I bought it like a week later. So it was still there. It hadn't sold out. And I think that was kind of my sign. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. And as far as the series, I said I was talking about how I believe it's in a series. The Kraken, or Kraken, how do you pronounce it? Another summer weight hat, another patchwork multi-panel cap, kind of the same makeup. It's a summer weight 8-panel cap, like blues and like very pale yellows and everything. So it's kind of like the same thing, kind of like these fictional, not so fictional, you know, monsters like the Loch Ness monster. It all depends what your beliefs are there. Same thing with the Kraken or the Kraken, however you wish to pronounce that. So, like I said, maybe it's a series. Maybe we'll get surprised with something next year. Maybe 2026 will bring us like a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, or actually both these are water-based. I don't know, are there any more water-based giant squid? I don't know. they can come up with. But so it's kind of a series. They are very similar. Like I said, they kind of use the same kind of plaid in a different color on the Kraken. So good stuff. Like I said, I probably won't wear it as often. Some of these other caps I got just because of the color palette. I don't wear a lot of green, but you know, it's weird being Boston and a Celtics fan. I just don't. I don't have a lot of Celtics gear. I think my favorite hat I use for when I'm wearing, like when the Celtics are doing well in the playoffs and stuff, I have the black Lucky with green trim, and then I have the Boston Scally, like little Celtics logo. But this is a great cap, and like I said, if you're into greens, this would be a fabulous cap if that's one of your color palettes. Oh, and you know, of course, got the swag. So there you go. There's a better view of Nessie wearing her Boston Scally 8-panel, though it's a little different than the one I'm wearing. So that tends to happen. The ones they wear on the logos tend to be a little different than the ones that are actually produced. Oh, wow. Down to one. Last 8-panel coming up. Last 8-panel, but probably number one in my heart when it comes to 8-panels. If you know me, you know I have a real love for this 8-panel cap. I believe it was the first or one of the first caps I ever bought. It's Captain Series, and my first one I think was Captain Bronze Rum. I wanted the Black Pearl, and that was not in stock when I made my first purchase. So to get the Bronze Rum. But this is the Captain Shipwreck Edition Lost Voyage. It's got a long name. So, boom, here we go. And again, kind of the running theme here from the summer for Boston Scally is these patchwork, what they call patchwork, but multicolor panel caps. So there you go. We get an even balance. You get a start there. What's that? Kind of purplish, almost like there's a sailor, I believe. Then there's almost a royal blue into a light gray into a black, and then that just continues around. This has its own special edition captain's pin. Inside, good news, it's the sublimated graphic, and the graphics are just fabulous. I love when they do these. They really come out well, and again, they don't stick to the head. So, great graphics from Boston Scally. And the best part about the captains is the way they hit the head. Man, they just fit so well, all the cotton twill caps. I love when it gets a little cooler out, like once summer's over here in Texas, I kind of start getting into the captains again. The Bronze Rum, the Black Pearl, and a few other colors that I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's like a blue one, there's like a seafoam green. There's just good options to wear. And again, they're just so comfortable. I love these caps. Feels real good on the head. Just feels like it, like right when you put on, just molds to your head. That's why I love the Captain series. That's why I love the Sailor series and the Keeper series. Keeper's the smallest of the bunch. I think they only have 3 colors of those. I have all 3, but hopefully someday they'll put out more to do like the single panel style. So this, I believe, is the second Patchwork edition. They had another special edition. I think that was just called Shipwreck, not the Shipwreck Lost Voyage, but I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, what can I say? It's a Captain series. Again, my favorite, probably my favorite cap series that Boston Scally makes. The material, the style, the fit. Just a great cap. Oh, almost forgot. Got a little swag. Again, it's that same sublimated graphics. And there you go. Shipwrecked Lost Voyage Same captain. And that wraps up the review portion of Skydog Reviews, this Return of the Mega review. So that's about it. As promised, I'll get into a little background here, why this one took so long to produce. So if you're here for review, you can exit out now. It won't hurt my feelings. But let's see. So obviously, as you can tell by my collection, I've been, kind of storing them up, a lot of these caps. So I've been saving them up since summer, obviously, at least back to the 4th of July, if not a little sooner. I think the Saltbox might have been a June release. I think usually the 4th of July is like June releases. And I did do I had the Tunnels to Tower. I did do a review for that back around September 11th, obviously. So what happened to Skydog? Why have we not got any videos from Skydog Reviews? Almost 3 months. Oh, wow, it just seems. But, well, a lot went on in my life. Like I said, I explained, I believe, on my previous video, with what I do, working in the airlines as a dispatcher, and I'm actually a specialist in the dispatch profession. I'm an ATC specialist. Summer kicks us. Summer is just really, every day you go in, you're getting hammered. So you kind of lose motivation to do things. And I have to be in a good mood to shoot videos. I don't want to put out poor quality videos. Well, I mean, they're all poor quality, but I don't want to, I at least want to be a little happier and jollier. I don't want to be down and, kind of just, it feels like it's a job. You can tell there's no enthusiasm behind it. So the summer gets very tough for me, just because usually when I get my days off, I just want to just lay around and recover. I usually sleep in late, don't have a lot of motivation. So usually by September, things start to quiet down, and we go into our quiet season. And so I was all prepared to get this video out. Did have a lengthy vacation. My wife and I went to Hawaii, had a fabulous time. I mean, it was great. And I have, if you watch other sections of my channel, I do DVC room reviews, other hotel room reviews. I have tons of footage that I got in the Rainbow Reef Snorkeling Lagoon I want to do a couple videos on. So I have a plethora of material. I have a lot of material to put reviews out. But we were gone for a few weeks. Obviously, not be producing videos at that point. Got back, and I did fly to Florida to go visit my parents. And this one was a little different than my normal visits. My father has been battling cancer for like 4 years. And I could tell when talking to him on the phone, and, I'd seen him in April when I last went. And when I got to Florida, he was not doing well. He was really not doing well. And so you kind of figure this is the last time I'm going to see him alive. I was going to say, man, like, things get screwy. I've never told my Fort Myers stories on my Skydog channel, but I fly in out of Fort Myers. My parents live in Naples, so it's not that far away, but flying out of Fort Myers, and after being in the airline industry like 30 plus years, I've seen a lot. I've dealt with a lot, but actually flying, I'm usually pretty good. I usually don't run into a lot of problems. I plan around like certain days and events and weather. If you're traveling like in the summer, you usually want to travel in the morning when the weather's. So I'm really good about doing stuff like that. So I usually can avoid trouble. Well, Fort Myers is just killing me. I mean, let's see. I mean, I've done an air return. We did it out of Dallas, but going to Fort Myers, ended up getting stuck at the airport for like 7.5 hours before I could get out again. And then my luggage went on the wrong airplane. It went through Charlotte, so I then had to get to Fort Myers and wait 2.5 hours. My luggage show up. Diversion, thunderstorm over the field, just one cell. It wasn't like a line, it just kind of ended up in Tampa, and then was able to recover back there. I've had mechanical delays out of Fort Myers. Never usually two. I'm usually good going to, but Fort Myers, I've had a couple mechanical delays and stuff like that. And now on 2 separate occasions, I've had Fort Myers has a single runway. It's technically 2, but it's the same piece of concrete as a runway going 6, and the other one's 2-4. So, but it's the same strip of concrete. 3 years ago, had a United 737 blow a tire, and it took them like 7 hours to get a jack. So, ended up having to drive up to Tampa that night and get an early flight out the next morning to get back home. In literally 3 years to the day, I'm flying out and this, I think it's Eastern Air Charter, it's 737-400, not a very common, coming out of Havana. It got disabled on the runway. And I was actually fortunate. We sat there for a few hours, then they announced boarding, and then they came back and said crew timed out, so the flight was canceled. But it got me, and I already knew because I'd already looked. There was going to be weather in Dallas, and they had offered me to if I wanted to move my flight to the next day. And I looked the next day, there was no open seats, so I already knew once that canceled that I was not getting out the next day. And again, it ended up being good because I was able to see my father one last time. Because the day I was literally getting ready to go to the airport, we had to bring my dad to the hospital, and he was dying. And then he didn't want the medical service. He wanted to just drive, and we couldn't get him in the car, and so did the ambulance, fire truck, whole thing. And so the flight canceling gave me another day with my father. To say goodbye, so at least I'll remember him when he was in a little bit better condition than when I left on Saturday. And came home, went back to work, and a week and a half later, my dad passed. So obviously had to make another trip back down to Naples. So that kind of burned through some time, and really wasn't in a mood to be shooting a video at that time. And then it's just the way things work for me sometimes. I got sick, really bad chest congestion, cough, and I'm still dealing with that. I think I already did it once in the video. I'm still dealing with that almost 3 weeks later. But yeah, I was down for the count for a good week and a half, where I was useless. I don't think I was getting good oxygen flow, just with all the congestion and the coughing. I was just tired. I basically either laid down or sat back in a recliner and just had no energy, nothing. So obviously no video came out during that time. So, and then Thanksgiving comes and goes. And at work, when I was at work, the shutdown kind of took away our quiet season. It was difficult enough flying during it. I was worried about it, because when we flew to Hawaii, and I flew to Fort Myers twice during it. It's always as the restrictions get worse and worse, are you gonna, a little more stress added to your life. Just flying, and then at work, that's what we do. And as an ATC specialist, you're dealing with all these staffing shortages, and a lot of folks are jumping on the air traffic controllers, and that's not the right thing to do here. Those folks work very hard. They have been short-staffed pretty much my entire career, like the last 30 years. Sometimes worse than others. Pandemic kind of made things worse. We got a lot more retirements. I think early retirements during the pandemic. But those folks in the ATC facilities are working mandatory overtime, working 6 days a week. Have been doing it for years. Like I said, they've always been short, but this mandatory overtime, I don't know if it was pre-pandemic, whatever, but definitely post-pandemic, they've been working 6 days a week, 5 years now. That's a lot to ask. That you get burned out, especially in that job. And you just can't, like the rest of us, when they sit there and, like in my position, we have 4 people on at a time. If someone calls out and no one can come to recover, you just split the workload. You can't do that in the air traffic control facility. If you split the workload, you've got to reduce the volume of flights that go through there. And one sick call, they're short-staffed, and they have been short-staffed. One sick call, can reduce capacity significantly, whether it be an airport, if the tower or TRACON has a sick call, the center, if there's a major airport in there, it reduces the arrival rate at that facility, or one of the large TRACONs, like some of the larger, they have like a regionalized TRACONs in some of the larger cities and more volume airports. You lose capacity. And they weren't calling in sick to punish anybody. Again, like I said, the fall for us is usually our quietest season. So a lot of them taking vacation, they have their vacation time, and, you're not going to cancel your vacation to go work 6 days a week. They need time off. They need to recover. It's a stressful job. But as the shutdown progressed, some of them had to call in sick because you got to feed your family. And I know, air traffic control, and when you've been there a while, you can, make decent money. But it's like any union job or, most jobs is they don't pay you max salary when you walk in the door. You start out at first year pay, and you kind of work your way up the longer you're there. And they have mandatory retirement age of 55, so they're always turning people over. So you get a lot, most of their workforce is young. They haven't been in the position. It takes 2, 3, maybe even 4 years to get to their full performance level at their facility, depending what facility they're working in. So they don't have, 20 years of built up savings. A lot of them coming out of school, so they still have, they're paying student loans. They're, houses aren't cheap things have gotten a lot more expensive. And fast food's expensive. Everything's expensive. So you take someone in that lower salary tier, working 6 days a week and not getting paid for over a month. They have to make money somehow. And if that means they're out driving like DoorDash or Uber or Lyft or something like that, they were doing what they needed to do to protect their families. And you didn't see a lot of it, but and some of the things I saw, people were getting, angry at them. It's like, that's not them. They didn't do it. They didn't sign up not to get paid for 40 days. It's a tough job. Like I said, even back to normal, we're technically right. We're post shutdown and everybody's getting paid. We still have staffing shortages because they just don't hire enough. And that you can, I don't like to get political, and then like everybody likes to blame the current or previous administration, and it's like all of them. I said 30 years worth of administrations have not solved this problem. So, it's not political. It's, I guess in some ways it could be, but it's a problem that no one wants to solve. So wow, I've really gone off on a rant here, but yeah. So anyways, that made my life difficult as well. So it was like being the summer again, when we were when you deal with staffing shortages, you just taking it's beautiful out and you're taking multi-hour delays. You really, I felt bad for our folks working at the airport. You're trying to explain this to the passengers, and you could have a tornado outside the window and they don't understand why you're on a weather delay. So trying to explain a staffing shortage at a facility is why you're sitting there for 3 hours. It was tough all around. So, but yeah, long story short, when I was working, it was kind of like summer again. Then I got sick, and like I said, still have a little bit of the cough in me, but yeah. So I actually had a comment this morning on my one of my YouTube videos saying the channel's dead. Well, it's not dead. The guy running it just hadn't been motivated for a while. And then, like I said, I ran into some other issues. And I do apologize, folks. I know some folks do look forward to the videos. I wish I could put them out on a regular basis. This is not my full-time job. I get, people say you go to YouTube to make money. I make zero. I don't do Patreon. I don't sell merchandise. That's how you make your money on YouTube. Until you get into like ultra high subscribers. I'm not even to the point where YouTube will let me monetize. So I am very far away from that. I do this kind of as a hobby and for something to do, to provide reviews. Like I said, I got into this on the backs of others that were doing reviews when I first started looking at Boston Scally caps. So I was just doing this because I found so much value in that, just to let the folks, kind of see these hats outside of the website. That's why I do this. And I do apologize if it don't come across as often as you like. But I'm working to get better. I'm not a perfect human being. I have my faults. But I am trying to get better. And I do have some more caps coming in. So always more caps coming in. And I've slowed down. I'm not buying nowhere near the number of Boston Scally caps because I have so many. So most of the ones that I've gotten it. Some of these special editions are pretty cool. So I do end up getting those. But again, I apologize for the gap. I hope you understand. Maybe you don't, but I am sorry. I'm hoping to get going again. Like I said, I have a lot of material from Hawaii to get out there, so I can start working on that, as well as like I said, the new caps coming in. So hopefully we'll get more videos out there for you. But that's it. You have any questions? Always feel free to put them in the comments. I usually get back to folks quickly. Maybe not so much when I'm not motivated, but I usually try to get back when I see them, when I get an alert. Although someone reached out to me on a YouTube comment, which I never saw. So cost me a good opportunity too. So that being said, before I say sayonara here, do have a couple places for you to get more information on Boston Scally. You have a couple YouTube groups that I'm involved in. The Boston Scally Insider, which is run by the Boston Scally Company. So it is moderated posts, so you can't post immediately. You can post, it'll get, moderator will review it to make sure you're not violating any of the rules of the Facebook group. And then there is the Scally crew, which used to be the Boston Scally crew, but they've kind of expanded out into more manufacturers of caps, of Scally caps. For those of you, looking to expand beyond Boston Scally, the Scally crew is a good place to start. Most of them are really still big into Boston Scally or have a lot of Boston Scallies, but they're expanding their horizons a little bit. I tend to stay Boston Scally just because of the sizes, the size of my dome. I find something that fits and I go with it. I did buy one cap recently, the largest one they made, and it's still too tight, so I'm gonna have to stretch it. So it's like, I find something I like, I usually stick with it. So that's usually why I'm sticking with the Boston Scallies. And something new for you folks, for those who haven't seen it. Like I said, if you're on the Scally crew, you've probably seen references to, I forget the name. It's there's now a, I wouldn't call it a podcast. It's a YouTube, live YouTube program going every other Tuesday. This past Tuesday was the second. It's on the Reviews with Moose channel. Mark runs that. And if you're on one of those Facebook groups, you know who Mark is. Great guy. He's does a lot of reviews on his own. He's also got a YouTube channel. He's gone through an amazing body transformation, losing weight. Obviously, I'm not in that. I haven't watched those videos because I am not transforming to a smaller sky dog. I am still a pretty large sky dog. So, but Mark's done fabulous. There's a few other folks on there. There's like 4 regulars. They have guests on. They had one of the moderators from the Scally crew on, and then one of the advertisers, or one of the people that are on there, runs their own company. So you can watch it live, and once it's no longer live, it is replayable on YouTube. Again, on the Reviews of Moose YouTube channel. I'll drop a link in the description to that channel so you can keep an eye on it. But yeah, it's kind of fun. There's a group there, and they go through their, just some topics, but basically Scally related. So another resource for you folks that are really interested in Scally caps. So that actually wraps it up. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you next time on Skydog Reviews. Have a great day.